Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. We fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom.
On this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Mike is home alone. So, the wife and kids headed up north for a week. This is a planned thing that we decided to do. Now, if you're not in the know, just had my fourth kid, which is like crazy, back in January. All right, so 12 weeks goes by. The old lady and I are pretty much sick of each other, right? We know this in advance. 6 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that, she plans a week-long vacation where her and the kids are going to be gone. Get this, you ready? From Thursday night to the following Sunday evening. Okay, now listen. That's full week plus, all right? I need to tell you this. Now, I love my family. Love the shit out of my family. I'm around them all the time. I'm going to give you full disclaimer right now. During the entire recording of this episode, I will not be wearing pants. All right? I'm going to tell you that much. That's A, number one. Walk around whole house. You got it all to yourself. Thank God. Now, here's the other reason why I needed a little bit of alone time. I am wrapping up a book. I'm doing the 5-paragraph business plan, and I don't want to go down that path right now. It's going to be awesome. If you want to get the template, cigarsandseastories.com/5P. cigarsandseastories.com/5P is in Papa. 5P, like 5 paragraph. Anyway, and you can get the template. It's free. That's it. It's a Word doc. You fill it out. I'm working on the book, so it's a guidebook. And I've gotten this thing to where it's in the right place. Right? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're working on something, and it just kind of. Now, like, I came up with this idea, the idea for the template and what have you. And if you haven't already checked it out, go check out the Institute of Veterans and Military Families right now. On your phone, because you're probably listening on a phone, but it's ivmf.syr.edu, and they're awesome people. Yeah, it's ivmf.syracuse.edu because it was originally founded out of Syracuse. On there, you'll find the nuts and bolts of great business plans. Now, that was the entrepreneurship business plan model that they brought together under consortium, and out popped this gleaming, very short document that was basically like a guide walkthrough on writing your business plan. I took that and I put it into our operations order, which we all know and love, and was beaten into my head as a Marine. You will know SMEAC. You will know it, and you will operate by it. And if you go out to the shitters, you will write a 5-paragraph order, because we are the core. Anyway, so I digress. I took that operating order, that operations order, whatever you want to call it, SMEAC, Situation, Mission, Execution, Admin, and Logistics, Command, and Signal. Because I can say that fast, I have credibility. There you go. So I took the op order and the nuts and bolts of great business plan and put it together with a little bit of my lessons learned in business planning and working with other entrepreneurs, and just kind of like, that's based on my experience in working at Bunker Labs and having gone through IVMF and talking with a lot of other entrepreneurs, whether they're veterans or patriots. And so anyway, this book came to a headway, and I just needed the space in order to complete this thing, the headspace, you know what I mean? I work from dawn till dusk because I love it. And hopefully you'll love it too. But I put the thing together and it's out for review. Thank you to all of my reviewers. You guys are awesome. We'll get it to editor and we'll get it out to all of you folks. And I'm sure that you'll see the value in it. But this staycation, as I call it, this at home alone, chilling. Not chilling. Some chilling. Definitely getting to watch what I want to watch on Netflix. That is happening. Yeah, just definitely. And like, I'm a nerd also. You got to know this about me. If you haven't, highly recommend this. If you have not checked it out on Netflix, I recommend the documentary The Pyramid Code. 6-part documentary. Seriously interesting if you're fascinated with the ancients and stuff like that. I can, as I say this, now my wife is not in the house. I can hear her eyes roll as I'm telling you. It's like they're clicking in the back of her head as I say this to you, because she knows that I'm a nerd, but she's a basic bitch. So, I mean, what are you going to do? So, I love this damn documentary, though, because it just stirs the mind and starts getting you thinking about, like, oh, man, yeah. What if there were, like, ancient giants with badass technology? Like, that's, I don't know. It just, like, makes my brain fire off. Anyway, so there's that, and of course, like, you know, just animated series that never get to be watched while in the house. Absolutely every action movie I can cram in like the 2 hours of TV time that I allot myself. Because again, man, I'm mission oriented. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting around watching TV all day. That's wasting my life. But like, you know how it is. At the end of the day, you're just like, fuck. You know, I don't watch TV. I don't watch regular TV, but you just want to sit down and you want to watch Netflix and you want to watch whatever you want to watch. And then it's like, I don't want to watch that. And then I love my wife. I love her. We always find something that we want to watch. The compromise is always good, but it's not like The Expendables. You know what I mean? Where it's just absolute, like, why are you even watching that? The killing. Do you not understand? I mean, look at all of that epic killing. You know, it's a movie. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I wound up going out in the woods once, getting some hunting in a little bit. Highlight of the staycation, aside from the book, I took the motorcycle out. I love my bike. I love it. It like got me through Afghanistan. For those of you who are Harley riders, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You just kind of like pictured it. And we're like, yes, I'm going to go home and fucking ride after this. And that's why I got to be mindful, right? Complacency and shit like that. Anyway, this bike was that for me, right? And matte black with a red pinstripe, soft tail, black line. It's 2012. And I had this, like, I'm a nerd. I had this magazine cutout that I ripped out, right, with my bike on there. And right when I got home from deployment, I was riding a little Sportster to begin with. I didn't know whether or not I tiptoed into the Harley market, right? This bike, 103 cubic inches. The Sportster I'm riding, 883 cubic centimeters. I go from the smallest motorcycle to the largest motorcycle, and I didn't even test ride it. I want that bike now. Threw the old lady on the back and went insanely fast, and then I realized that I had a 6th gear. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yes. Her name's Matilda. She is bad ass, and I love riding Matilda. And so took all back roads, nothing but back roads. I did not hit a single highway in between here and Raleigh, all the way to Myrtle Beach, and it took about 4 hours. You know, I don't have the GPS playing in my ear. What, are you kidding me? That would drive me freaking nuts. You know, you pull over on the side of the road, and if you got to check the map, you check the map. We're rolling old school. No distractions. Ride your goddamn motorcycle. You know what I mean? And there's no frills. Oh, man. I got in, and Bennett's wife, Danielle, which I want to say this while I'm alone. Bennett and his family are the absolute salt of the earth. They're the most amazing people. Went down to Myrtle Beach. It was a 24-hour trip. It was a quick turnaround down there, but it was so much damn fun. And thank you to Bennett and the family for inviting a solo rider in for a trip, which was very cool. The whole ride back, again, it was nothing but sunshine and beautiful. Just absolutely loved it. And it was shortly thereafter, it was like came back off of that trip talking to Bennett, and he and we're business partners. We do a lot of different things aside from Cigars and Sea Stories. We're growing in a variety of different ways, and it's just happening behind the scenes, but it's coming. And so we were talking over the weekend, and out of that motivation, I came slamming back into the office, just like raring to go, and wound up putting the finishing touches. Or at least you know how it is. Any other writer who's out there, you've got a rough draft, and it's been in rough draft for a long time, and then you've got your basically like your first edition, like your first draft that you put out, your first manuscript that you're willing to allow other people to see. And there's something about that you just cherish. And so anyhow, you throw it out into the world and people are going to beat it up. And that's what's happening right now. But it was good. I wound up going out to, on Thursday, 2 to 4. And this is what typically happens. Thursdays, 2 to 4. Go to the Bunker for the Braintrust. Which anybody who attends Bunker Braintrust and listens to the show, thank you. Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to Cigars and Sea Stories. For those of you who don't know about Bunker Labs, it's great because it's all about veterans and entrepreneurship and other patriots who would like to encounter veterans who are ambitious and goal-oriented, and that's where we congregate, is over at Bunker Labs. So it's great. We've got big sponsors that can help as far as pushing outreach and stuff like that. But frankly, it's all veteran driven, which is so fantastic. And each one of us are all veterans who decided that the next mission is going to be entrepreneurship. Like, you've heard me, I can get on the soapbox and tell you that it's one of these things where you've got to be motivated and all of these, whatever, it's nonsense in my opinion. But finding your enemy, and I mean that in almost a literal sense, we, at least for guys like me or gals like me, we're locked on to that mission and our honor and our commitment and so on and so forth and everything else went into that. And now it's like, oh, we've got to figure out this new mission. But really, the essence, in my opinion, is you need to have an enemy that is a common enemy that you have the ability to align to go and defeat. And so I personally wanted to learn entrepreneurship. That was like the first priority objective that I needed to do. And then wound up, Bennett and I met when we were at the Institute of Veterans and Military Families. And so I saw how awesome that could be and wanted a community of other veterans to be around. And that's what Bunker Labs provides. But it's much more open. IVMF is giving you a concentrated, drink from a hose, entrepreneurship education, very, very, very condensed knowledge with a huge network and a lot of people who care, and very... I like their events. I like their takeaways. I like their breakout sessions and all of these other things. So that's great. But then Bunker Labs with their Bunker Braintrust, this is how we lead them. It's more of in the beginning, it's like a guided focus. Hey, this is us. This is what we're doing. We go around the room and introduce ourselves and kind of the concept and why we're there, as well as our tie-in to the military. And then when we're done with the round robin, we might have somebody who pitches. We might have somebody who says, hey man, I just read this great book and would like to tell everybody about this piece of literature. We might have other tips, tricks, tools, pieces of knowledge. And that's kind of where that mastermind group, or maybe more of like a lunch and learn, comes in. And then if we have a speaker, they go for a given amount of time. Typically, we give them up to 90 minutes because more often than not, these are workshops where you have practical application, takeaways. My favorite thing in the world is when somebody is like on the phone going, Jerry, we got to do this in the plan. Oh my God, I can't believe we forgot about this. And they're running essentially to go contact, and then they come back in later and they're networking with everybody and they're still engaged. I really love that. I like the energy that comes out of Bunker, and it's a great continuation coming out of that experience at IVMF, and then now being a part of Bunker Labs. And I'll tell you right now, my inclusion in Bunker Labs, I went there as co-founder of Cigars and Sea Stories, but we as a company prove the concept. You as an audience like our show and have listened to the show. Thank you. This proves to them that we know what we're doing as far as creating good content. It's always consistent. You folks are always on board. It's awesome. And so it means that we're doing things right. Well, I went to him and I said, hey, man, I got this 5-paragraph business plan idea. What do you think? Whatever. And he's like, well, this is great. You should be a part of the cohort. And so wound up going in and being one of the, the first members, one of the first companies at the cohort. But I was there with the intention of the 5-paragraph business plan. So this was last January of 2016. And I had already been working on the 5-paragraph business plan since October, I want to say, of 2015. And so I'd already done a little bit of research and knew that people were seeing the value in this. And again, the templates are cigarsandseastories.com/5P. P is in Papa. cigarsandseastories.com/5P. And if you want to talk about this, if you want to engage, that's fine. Follow us on Facebook at Cigars and Sea, and just shoot us a message. Plenty of folks have done that before. So just send us a message on there. We'd be happy to reach out and connect and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, I wound up taking this 5-paragraph business plan concept and kind of beating it up in going through, as a cohort member, the education package that Bunker provides. And the EPIC program that's available is more broad scope, where you can come in various layers of, I'm a beginner to I'm a, seasoned entrepreneur. But the way to look at it is you're always dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's always better if you're working with somebody else. I even look at it as a consultant. It's like an organized consultant program, I guess you could say, to where you're working for 12 weeks and you're getting exposed to all of these different things that could create a competitive advantage within your company. But then also you're cross-talking through this guided discussion and helping each other through the entire program. And that's key. That's the crucial secret sauce that they are not telling you. You drop your ego at the door, because entrepreneurship is really fucking hard. Allow me to reiterate this, okay? It is the hardest thing. Okay. Oh, you went through selection? I don't give a shit. I do not care what you did in the military or anything else. Entrepreneurship will be harder than anything else you have ever done. And I'm going to tell you the simple reason why. It's because it involves every single aspect of your life. And you're either working on the business or in the business. And there's good, bad, ugly, and different that's associated with that. There are better practices and principles. There are better networks to be associated with, and so on and so forth, in order to increase your overall value proposition, right? So it's daunting at first. And anything in life should be, but that's the thing, is when you walk into the classroom over at Bunker, and I noticed this at IVMF, I noticed this anywhere that I have sought out a veteran entrepreneurship program, for the most part, or veteran or patriot, together collectively, I have seen a relinquishing of the ego, and you go in much more with an open mind, collaborative, want to help, want to, I'll use the term build synergies, to where that's a win-win for both of you. And potentially, and this is how I work, it's always a 3-way deal. It's always to where each one of you have a value proposition that's going around, to where if the deal matrix does collapse, it's not that you can side with one, but that deal is still active. And I've seen that work out. I mean, that's some of the different things that I speak about also. And again, me personally, I am not God's gift to entrepreneurship by any way, shape, or form. I hopefully am a motivating son of a bitch who has done a little bit with this operating order and led some folks through war, a couple of them. And that is the element that I bring in as far as like with me and trying to translate across this whole op order turned into a business plan. And this whole idea of, and I truly believe this, I am not messing around. I believe that the Marine Corps taught me everything that I need to know and allow me to elaborate. Fundamentally, the foundation of everything that I do, I circle back to the Marine Corps way. And I don't mean that I'm yutting and shutting down the street with a high and tight haircut. No. I'm talking about the op order. I'm talking about if I need to go in and give a period of instruction, goal nest. This is another time when I bring up goal nest around my wife, I can hear her eyeballs just like click in the back of her head as she rolls them. Goal nest. Goal nest is the greatest thing in the world. Gain attention, overview, learning objectives, method, media evaluation, safety seats, training, transition. Somewhere in there's admin. You've got to figure that out on your own. It's like Goal Meest. Anyway, I love that because they gave me a template and a structure, and now all I got to do is execute. Yes. So anyway, I practice what I preach in taking a lot of these different things. What I'm doing, and this is just where it's like, Mike, well, you don't have all the answers. You're damn straight. You're damn straight. What I'm looking to do is bring this to the forefront and empower others in order to create businesses. And this is taking two known wheels, putting them together, and then creating a new 0 to 1 piece of technology that you folks have the ability to use in order to create businesses. And that's the template. That's the template. And again, that's cigarsandseastories.com/5P. But that is where I'm at with it right now. And I'm working on the book, and hopefully it'll get there. And yeah. And so put it out for review. It's out in the space. And I wound up engaging with, I've got this mentor, and he'll be nameless right now. I look to him as a mentor and an advisor and so on and so forth. And spent the day walking in the woods, spent the morning walking in the woods, had my grandpa's shotgun. He and I are trolling around looking for life, but also talking business at the same time. That is different than corporate structure. I'll tell you that much right now, because I would much rather have business meetings with a shotgun in my hand, walking around out in the woods than I would inside of a conference room in an office all the time, frankly. And that's the way that I like running my business. And I bring that up as part of the staycation, right? Being able to go out and hang out with some of these folks and being able to do some of the different hobbies, missing the shit out of my wife and kids. But at the same time, again, I'm just walking around without my pants on, and that is fantastic. So, but yeah, you ever get a chance, folks, I highly recommend a staycation. You're going to be able to hone in and plan it out. We've been planning it out for the past 6 months. I knew exactly what I was going to do this week. I did not plan every day. I said I'm going to wrap up my book. Here's a week to do it. Here's 6 months to wrap up your market research. Do it. Right? You know what I mean? So it's one of these things where it's like, one thing, how far out? Let's see if we can meet that target. Well, keep it tight. Don't try. And keep in mind, this is a guy who is trying to practice what he preaches here. Okay. I have shiny object syndrome worse than anybody else. I love ideas. I want to bring them into fruition. I want to help all of you. I honestly want to work with all of you in business development. I want to work with you in strategic partnership and alliances. That's me. That's Mike saying that. And I know that I can speak clearly and effectively for all of us at Cigars and Sea Stories when I say we, very much so want to engage in business development and strategic partnerships and things of that nature, especially, entrepreneurs, small business. Let's say you're a business leader within a corporate sector. The 5-paragraph business plan is for you. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're trying to figure out how to impress the bosses, start doing things in 5-paragraph order and start leading the way that you did in the military. And oh my God. And you're going to get people who will butt heads with you. I guarantee it. You just keep being a locked on professional and those people can fuck off and pound sand. You are locked on if somebody is butting heads with you. It means that you are not a problem. If your peers are pissed off with you, good, fuck them. If your bosses are real happy with you, there you go. And it's not because you're screwing people over. It's because you're locked on. It's that simple. I mean, that's what I'm seeing every day. So I'm just going to push that out to the greater audience. But I got to tell you, this has been a great week of focus. It has been wonderful to tighten things up and hone in on priority targets. We've got a lot of awesome stuff that's in the works with Cigars and Sea Stories. We're talking about all sorts of different veterans in entrepreneurship or business leaders or owners or authors or, dare I say it, influencers who will be coming on the show and providing, sure, some of the helpful insights and a lot of these other different things, but more so they're going to be sharing sea stories with us. And hopefully you see a little bit of yourself in those sea stories and you understand that you are Invictus. Invictus. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. Invictus. So, thank you very much for listening to another episode of Cigars and Sea Stories. We very much so appreciate your support. Please subscribe, rate, review, and by review, thank you to everybody who's given us a 5-star. You guys are just awesome. We don't. Thank you for not giving us anything aside from 5 stars. Maybe that's how I should put this. Thank you. And thank you for your reviews and taking the time. And I would love to engage with you more. I mean, that's me as Mike and Cigars and Sea Stories. And now you know why it's like, well, why wasn't Mike on social media the past week? It's because I was ensconced at my house with my pants off, writing a book, riding a motorcycle, and carrying a shotgun through the woods in between. See, I was doing man things, people. And every once in a while, you got to disconnect and you got to do that. So, God bless all of you for listening to Cigars and Sea Stories. You are a fantastic group of people, and I absolutely love you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much to veteranslist.us. For those of you who are business owners, you can get 50% off, 50, half off, by entering in discount code Cigars and Sea. And you can get a featured membership right up there next to Combat Flip-Flops. Yep, they're a big deal. Right up there on veteranslist.us. Get a featured membership, 50% off. Entering discount code Cigars and Sea. Huge thank you to Jeremy and the entire team over there at Spartan Media. You guys keep rocking it as far as on the website and on the support. You wrote a turnkey website. Thank you. You're awesome. I appreciate it. And of course, our network, Heroes Media Group. Folks, if you haven't already checked it out, Heroes Media Group is a podcast network that is very much so veteran-centric. And it's just fantastic. When I first found it on the web, I was like, Cigars and Sea Stories needs to be a part of this. And I contacted the owner, Adam Bird, who runs the Decision Hour over on Heroes Media Group. And Adam is a phenomenal, again, salt to the earth, upstanding human being. I'm going to tell you that much right now. He and I have had some very positive interactions for a long time now. And we're very happy to be a part of Heroes Media Group. And their support in the editing room is absolutely top-notch. They're awesome. So check out Heroes Media Group. If you're running a podcast and you want to be part of the network, get with Heroes Media Group. Do it. Folks, feel free to reach out to us. By all means, reach out to us on social media, call us, do whatever you got to do. Get in touch with us. We want to engage. We're here for you. And hopefully you're seeing value in what we're doing. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Cigars and Sea Stories. And on that note, I cue the note.
I will flag on front to every breeze. said